Well, moving on now, America's endeavors in space are the stuff of legend. Think Neil Armstrong in one small step. But today, NASA and its partners at Boeing have hit a bit of a snag. The Boeing Starliner will have to cut short its unmanned mission to the International Space Station after experiencing technical problems mid-flight. Here's our science correspondent, Jonathan Amos.
And liftoff, the rise of Starliner and a new era in human spaceflight.
A new era, perhaps, but not just yet. Boeing launched its Starliner capsule on time from Cape Canaveral in Florida, but the automated ship then failed to carry out its commands properly. When it came off the top of the rocket, it was supposed to fire its engines to increase its height. It did, but at the wrong time and for too long. The Starliner put itself in the wrong part of the sky. It can no longer reach the space station and will have to come home. The American Space Agency has been overseeing the development of the capsule. NASA has provided milestone payments to help Boeing bring the vehicle into operation. And despite the setback, the agency is staying positive.
If we would have had crew in there, number one, they would have been safe. To be very clear, our crew would have been safe. And in fact, had they been in there, we very well may be orbiting, or we may be docking with the International Space Station tomorrow, had they been in the spacecraft. So a lot of things went right today.
2, 1, 0.
NASA hasn't been able to launch its own astronauts to orbit for nearly 9 years. When it retired the shuttles in 2011, it ceased to operate space vehicles, and it bought seats to the space station in Russian capsules instead. NASA would rather spend its money hailing rides on American-built astronaut taxi services. Another enterprise, California's SpaceX company, has already completed the test flight of its astronaut capsule. The Dragon craft made a flawless trip to the orbiting lab in March. SpaceX looks set to start flying astronauts for real in the next few months.
Now 15 seconds.
Quite how far behind today's events put Boeing is unclear. Engineers will need to inspect the Starliner when they get it back on Earth. NASA is determined, though, that it should have a choice of capsules in the future. Boeing is certain to try again. Jonathan Amos, BBC News.